Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Hello?
Oh, and that's the energy we're riding with today because we're looking at, is this thing on? A project that feels like a collision of titans. Laura Dern, Will Arnett, and Bradley Cooper helming this thing and directing it. I'm excited about, is this thing on?
Yes.
This is Parallel Frequencies. I am Just Blane. That is Coco, and you are the freaks. What's up over there, Coco? How are you today?
Doing all right. I'm doing all right. I was doing burn boot camp this morning, getting my workout on, and today I hit 50 camps. And the burn boot camp culture is you get to cheer for people when they get to 50 and they get to sign a giant 50 on the wall. I think it's a little sad how excited I was about this.
No,
Maybe
I think
life
that's
wasn't that interesting because I was like, today's my 50. Today's my 50.
I think I'm excited for you. Show us them guns. Let's see. Are you looking chiseled? Oh, my God.
Not really. Now that I see it on camera, I'm like, I don't know if you can tell. But today was arm day. So
I see some tone. I see some tone up there. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good. Well, you did a whole lot more than me. You know what I did? I watched about 2 hours of Boy Meets World after our episode.
You didn't even have to do it for research because we already recorded that episode yesterday.
I know.
So
I realized that I had that right behind me. I had, look at these collector's editions. I've got a Topanga and a Corey.
Gosh.
I know, and I didn't even realize. These things are so old, they got dirt on top of them, but they're unopened. There's a Corey, Boy Meets World, and there's Topanga right there.
Corey
but
and
I keep them, I forget I keep them right here, my Funko Pop. And these are my special ones right here. This one right here, though, I really love this one. And this is going to get off on a side tangent, but this is me. This is a one of one, a dad. My kids and Lindsay made this for me. And that's me. He's got a microphone in his hand, an award in his other hand, which I've never won an award, and a Siamese cat.
That's fortune telling right there. Like when we get best podcast next year. You know who has a best podcast? Well,
who's it?
I wish I was about to say me. I was thinking, what would my little pop figure have? You know, like a witch's broom or something, or a paintbrush. I'm not sure. But one of the top podcasts, like, gets all the awards is Smartless.
Yeah.
Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes, who are all buddies in real life. They started this podcast, I think, before the pandemic. I think it goes way back. But it's one of my favorites. It's one that it's on my lineup of get ready in the morning, funny podcasts I listen to brighten my mood. And that's how I found out about our movie today.
Are you doing Coco's Trailer Park now? We're just going to start putting out new podcasts and talking about.
We like to shine a light on and highlight on Trailer Park Thursdays the kind of lesser known maybe podcasts, the ones that are just the average folks like myself who start a podcast and try to put our content in the world. But I don't think Smartless needs my help at all for their promotion. I think they're doing just fine. But it is one of my favorites, so I just had to give a shout out there because, if Jason Bateman wants to contact me and say, thanks for the shout out on your podcast, I would be thrilled.
Or come on ours. Come talk to us. We need to get some more guests on here.
Yeah. We'll have to work on that.
Yeah, and we just haven't tried, really. We haven't really tried. We asked one person to come on with us, James Ward Burkett, the director of Coherence, and he said yes, and he did it. And we haven't asked anybody else. So we'll have to start asking some people to hop on the show. We're going to win an award. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm very
confident. Either Practically Magic or Parallel Frequencies or one of the Ride the Wave media.
Exactly. I don't care who it is. I just want my name to be attached to the award somehow. I guess I do have a couple awards if you look at it like that. I've got a couple of hosts that I've worked with who have Marconi Awards, which is the highest award in radio. I don't have one, but they do. So I help them elevate up. I'm putting it out there right now. We are going to win an award or get nominated or have somebody ask us or something to
I'm working on my acceptance speech. I'll work on it in the car and in the shower and when I'm getting ready.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe I'll start working on mine too. But today is Feature Friday, and you turned me on to this movie. Is this thing on? And I don't think I'd heard of it. I think it was one that just kind of slipped under the radar, And
Perfect for Feature Friday. It's kind of like a little, tucked away movie. Didn't get a big release, right? Like big blockbuster release.
And this movie it's polished, but it's not. It's gritty, it's dirty, it's real. And I'm watching this thing and I'm like, holy crap, this is real life. This is what people really go through. This is how it is. There's two people in this movie, Tess Novak, Laura Dern, and Will Arnett, Alex Novak. And they started off by saying, should we call it? Sure, yeah. It's not fighting. And what they're talking about is their marriage.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. Yep, we should call it. And then you get to see what I consider two people who are too busy to get a divorce. And that's real life. Mm-hmm. They couldn't slow down enough to even be split up. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's clear that this isn't, like you said, it's so subtle. It's so kind of not explosive. It's not this. I think that's probably more common. I don't know. I don't know about, going through divorces, but I know that like when my marriage has hit some rocky patches here and there, like I always tell people, I've been through 3 marriages in my lifetime and they're all to the same person.
Yeah.
That's average, right? That's common. But to go through like these patches, when you really love the other person, you're really loyal, you're really committed, it is hard to have this moment of like, is this when we call it? Like, is this it? Because I don't feel like it is. And you kind of feel that push and pull in these characters. They really still do love each other. And they really can't see their lives without each other. But they're also like, I think we got to call it. I think this is it.
This movie hurt. It hurts to watch. Like, when you see Will Arnett, Alex Novak, when you see him with his 2 sons, and then you find out that they're sleeping in his bed because it's the most comfortable, and he's sleeping on the couch. He's still sacrificing. And we never really find out. Like, they don't fight. They're not like doing the yelling at each other and this and that. We never really get too deep into what caused all this.
Yeah. Well, and it's only when they kind of start to rekindle passion for each other.
Yeah.
To have the sort of post-separation affair.
Yeah.
I don't know what other couples go through when they go through separations. And I wonder how common it is to kind of go through we can't quite let each other go. There's still that passion there. Or being separated somehow rekindles the passion because then it's a little bit like recording each other. And there's that going on. But it was when that happened that they started to fight it out. And they start kind of hashing out their history a little bit more. And you see them kind of talk about things that are, I think, really relatable to everybody in the audience watching, which is, at what point did we make it the other person's responsibility to make us happy?
Yeah.
And then at what point in a marriage when it's just kind of, it's easier to just kind of live your life than to keep trying to get to know the other person through all the changes and transformations that 2 people can have in a lifetime. You think you know that person because you met them and married them, but we become new people every year, every day, every 10 years, whatever the cycles are. Are we still doing the work or making the effort to know that person that we're married to?
I love that you say that you've been married. You've been in 3 marriages, all to the same person, because it's true. Like, we change. And if you don't change with your mate as they change, then something's off and something's amiss. I have been married before and divorced. And that was so long ago, let's just say, that if me and her were to meet today, we probably no attraction, probably nothing, It's like, oh, I'm a different person now. She's a different person. That was a different life. We didn't grow together. Mm-hmm. So I can see that. Do you ever feel like these multi-hyphenated Hollywood setups, how it's got Arnett, Dern, Cooper. Do you ever feel like the ones with these big names and stuff, it's either going to be a masterpiece or a very public therapy session? And because I'm leaning towards the latter, and I mean that in the best possible way, Bradley Cooper has a knack for finding the broken in beautiful people and put it on the screen like this.
Yeah.
He's directing Will Arnett and Laura Dern.
Broken people. You could say it either way, right?
Absolutely.
beauty in the brokenness of these characters, these flaws and these conflicts and these not just relationship conflicts, but like inner conflict.
Yes.
That you see, like Alex Novak, Will Arnett's character, going through as he's discovering himself through stand-up comedy. Through going to open mic, something he probably never would have done when he was married and with his wife. Like he would never tried stand-up comedy, this character. But he's like, whoa, what is this? What am I feeling? What am I discovering about myself? I'm getting on stage and having like therapy on stage.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I've been in that position of where Alex was. That feeling, like you're going through a divorce, his name gets called, and he's like, fuck it, man, I'll do it. I've been there where it's like, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Like, what's the worst that happens? You get up there and people boo you and tell you they don't like you and you get upset. Like, you're not making me feel any different than I already was. So who cares?
Right. I mean, it's like right now he's going through this really, big life event that's changing everything he thinks he knows about himself, about life, about what he thought happiness was going to be, all these things. So you're right. Like the biggest fear that a comic might have getting up on stage and trying to be funny and to be, a successful comic is, I want to make people laugh. I don't want to bomb. But he's like, I don't care if I bomb. He's got, like who cares about that? I'm like, my marriage is over. Like that's so much bigger.
Yeah. And I loved it. I love the fact that, he takes it on. Like that's a huge challenge for your name to get called and go up to a open mic for something that you really just came into the bar to get a drink. Like that's,
yeah.
It
he
takes a lot to do that.
The cover charge.
He's like, yeah, didn't want to pay the cover charge. Bradley Cooper directing Will Arnett and Laura Dern feels like putting a shot of espresso into a glass of wine and then shaking it up. It shouldn't work, but you can't stop looking at it. We can't stop paying attention to what they're doing on this screen. And I mean, the title itself is this thing on as a universal cry of the misunderstood. Think about it. How many times you hear that? Whether you're podcasting in our basement here or a movie star on a set, we're all just asking if the connection is real. That's what "is this thing on" really means. Is the connection real? Am I connected? Do you hear me? Is this thing on?
Mm-hmm. I feel that every single day with three boys, chasing them around all day, and my husband, and everybody having their own self-interest. Like, they all have an objective in their mind of what's going on and what they need to get done and how they are pursuing happiness, which is kind of, comes to be the theme at the end, is like how individually are we pursuing what's right for us and meeting our needs, but then we're like connected in this family unit. I'm constantly chasing my kids around being like, is this thing on? Is anybody listening?
Yeah.
What about me is what I find myself saying a lot.
They don't pay attention till they need something. You ever notice that? That's a whole other topic. But
and it's like, eye on the prize. What can I get out of this situation? And that, that's hard. Relationships are hard, whether it's a spouse, your children, just trying to navigate all of that. I absolutely loved getting to watch this movie after I mentioned Smartless because that's how I found out about the movie. Will Arnett is one of the hosts of Smartless, and Sean Hayes actually has a small part in this movie too, which I loved. He's fantastic too. Love Sean Hayes. But they had Laura Dern on as a guest. So the conversation of how the two of them worked with Bradley Cooper and how they connected during the filming of this, and to hear them talk about how intimate it was, it really does. It's exactly like what you described. It's like these actors were getting to go through a therapeutic experience through these characters because there was a deeper level of intimacy between Will Arnett and Laura Dern. They have like this newfound deep connection with each other. It's not romantic. It's still a working relationship, that the two actors working together, but to play these parts together, it's just incredible to see how that interwove into it.
Yeah, and I love that Will Arnett, he's the king of the lovable jerk with a soul made of glass. Like, we know him for The Voice the swagger, the arrested development, ego. But Bradley Cooper strips all that away and still shows you another side of Will Arnett that I'm not used to. And we also get to see the seedy underbelly of the comedy world.
Yeah.
And that's real. These people doing these open mics and going from one to the next in a big city, that's real. I've worked with some comedians before. One of our buddies is one, still is,
Yeah.
Ben Brown. And yeah, this is a hustle on top of a hustle already. There's so much going on in this movie that just makes it feel so real. Like it really does hit. It sticks with you. And that's all a credit to Bradley Cooper, if you ask me. Laura Dern, by the way, in the news, she's joining the cast of The White Lotus.
Oh, that's a great fit.
There you go. So I wanted to mention that. Laura Dern.
She not incredible. Or her in, was it Big Little Lies that she did with Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon? And oh my gosh, her playing that character was so next level. Just next level. I read the book before I watched that TV series, and she hit the nail on the head.
Oh, she's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And let's talk about the scene with Peyton Manning. Walk us through that scene and what you were thinking, Coco.
That was interesting. I was watching it again with my husband. You guys have to remember, we're not sports people, okay? We're just not.
But you know Peyton Manning. You know who he is.
I did. My husband was like, what is that, Brett Favre? I was like, no, that's Peyton Manning. Even I know who that is. Playing a character, and getting to talk to Laura Dern's character, Tess, and she plays this Olympic volleyball athlete, and that, really kind of becomes a real central part of her character of like finding a new identity. And she talks about in the fight that they have about how she's like, you never saw me past the Olympic athlete. I retired from that. And then and then there was all the years that we were trying to conceive and trying to raise kids and be a mom, and how hard that was for me to leave that identity behind and figure out who I was after that. And she felt like he, as the husband, abandoned her through that. And now she's stepping into a role of, I think I'm going to get back into it, but I'm going to be coaching now. And that's a different, what is that going to be like? And so Peyton Manning plays a character, Laird, who is a friend of theirs that knows both of them, Alex and Tess. But they have dinner as kind of a business meeting, supposedly. She finds out he's now single, and he finds out she's now single, and maybe there's a little bit of a date spark going on there right at the end. But I think it was interesting, that scene, because it gave Tess's character an opportunity. She was asking questions about, like, what's it going to feel like to be back in the sport but not as an athlete? And he lets her know it's going to be hard. Like, that's a different identity that you have to take on. But you're going to love it, too. Like, it's going to be this whole other opening for you to, discover who you are in this new setting. And I just think that was really an important scene. Yeah. It was the catalyst to her and him going to the bar that ends up being the same place that Alex is doing his stand-up. So that's how the cat gets out of the bag and she finds out what he's been doing this all along. But it was interesting to see Peyton Manning in sort of a, like, it's a lot like his natural self, but adjacent.
Yeah.
His athletic character. Yeah.
I've always loved Peyton Manning. I got a crazy story, because I went to University of Tennessee, and my roommate, his older brother, was roommates with Peyton in Knoxville, and Peyton gave him a pair of his shoes and signed them, and we had them up on our mantle in our college dorm room. And when the alcohol would get to flowing a little too much, those shoes would usually end up on my feet or somebody else's feet in the house, and our roommate would get so pissed off. But yeah, I've always loved Peyton. I have always loved Peyton. And rest in peace, Keenan Lucky. That was the guy's name. He died of COVID a couple years ago. Hard battle. But yeah, that was a crazy story. Let's talk about the cinematography, because there's a lot of this, like, and this is what made it gritty, was these close-ups. It's almost Giallo style, like an Argento movie from back in the 70s or something. It's something like that. That's Bradley Cooper. He's obsessed with the cost of being a creator. Think about A Star is Born or Maestro. You know, like, he is great at dragging. I don't want to say dragging, but this movie is a hard watch. He's dragging the viewer in and making you watch this.
Yeah, making you really face it. It was really symbolic, I think, of like taking a good hard look at yourself. You know, like sometimes it's not pretty, sometimes it's real close. That's kind of what it felt like to me with all the close-ups, because you're like, yeah, I love watching Will Arnett on screen doing his thing, no problem. Laura Dern, sure, yeah, all that, it's great. But it does get a little uncomfortable when you're like that close. Like the camera is just circling around. I'm also thinking about how that must have been like for the actors to act. You think that the camera was close where they just had to kind of like look past it?
Not for these professionals, not for a Laura Dern, Will Arnett, Bradley Cooper. I don't think so. Yeah. And that's probably why this movie was so well acted, is because they were able to ignore the cameras and the set and whatever was going on. They just
passed it to a whole room of people or whatever, and this camera is circling real close.
And a lot of this was not on a set. Exactly, but a lot of this was not even on a set. You know, they're in the streets, they're in the comedy club, they're in New York City, so that gives it some more realistic vibe too. And the close-up cameras, I don't think it bothered any of them. Bradley Cooper's character, Balls. Let's talk about him before we get out of here, because
let's do.
I think, and this is going to be way out there, but I think Balls needs his own movie. We need to see more of this character. I thought he was great. We all know a person in our, if not immediate circle, past circle of ours, that we had a Balls in our life. Am I right? Did you have a Balls, Coco? A couple of them?
I think there were several. I look back at like college days when I was first married and all of the group of friends that we had back home. And, you know, we've stayed in touch a little bit here and there, but sometimes I look back at the way that we were back then and I go, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, you can love them and also be like, what an idiot. Just a little bit difficult to be around sometimes because, I mean, Balls shows a character that's like a little self-obsessed. You know, one of those guys who, maybe used to wear his sunglasses upside down on the back of his head. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you got me concerned over here now, thinking that maybe I was the guy in the group. Very possible. It's very possible it could have been. Yeah,
that's okay.
But I love that this movie. Yeah, this movie seems to be about the performance of life, and that's going back to I think they ignored the cameras. I think they were just living. They knew their roles, they knew their characters, they knew who they were supposed to be, and they weren't Will Arnett, Laura Dern, Bradley Cooper. They were these people on screen. Now, was a little bit of them, the real them, coming out? Probably. Yeah. And I think that the title, Is This Thing On? He's, you know, Bradley Cooper's poking fun at the very industry he's dominating. It's meta, maybe a bit rebellious, but that's exactly the kind of frequency we like to stay on right here. We don't even know what this movie was. Was it a comedy, a tragedy, a traumedy? Don't know.
Yeah. I feel like the era that we've gotten into in the past decade probably is less and less separation of genres. I mean, you've got like the horror comedies, the horror dramas. You've got, you know, this is like a dark comedy. Like it's dramatic. It's very deep. It goes down to some really real human inner workings and psychological thought processes, and then you have like moments that just make you laugh out loud. Sean Hayes and his husband in the cast, when they're all at Oyster Bay in the friend group, and midnight, it's like 2 a.m. and they're like in the kitchen getting ice cream out and trying to wake everybody out. They're like eating ice cream. I remember them joking about that on Smartless, and Will Arnett says to Sean Hayes, "Well, that's just your real self." That wasn't playing a character. You just do that. Eat ice cream at midnight.
Yeah. What's your final thoughts on Is This Thing On?
If you haven't watched it, please do. Because it's fantastic. It's a fantastic, to me, if I was to take a visual of what this movie is, it's kind of like a spider web.
Yeah.
Like, you know, here is like the basic plot and the basic characters, but there's this interconnectedness of past, present, and future, of friend groups and relationships and familial relationships, you know, the spouse, the kids, all of that. There's like not just the conflict that's happening between the characters, but also each character, even like Christine and Balls, their marriage and what's going on with them. You have these moments where you see the inner workings of their conflict too. It's not about their conflict with someone else, but like what are they dealing with internally too?
Yeah.
And we've all got that going on. That's why it's so realistic. That's why it's so real. We watch this movie and we go, "Oh, this is us. This is all of us." So,
I think that's why it hits.
Fantastic.
I think that's why it hits. It's because in real life, we're all on all the time. Social media, work calls, family dinners, we're always checking if our mic is working, if our persona is landing. Mm-hmm. That's why this movie resonates. It's not about the famous people. It's about the exhaustion of being seen, perceived. Seriously, think about that. How much of your day is spent making sure this thing, the thing, is on?
Yeah.
That's scary. That's sad.
A lot of energy.
Go watch this movie if you haven't seen it already. I thought it was incredible. But you know what time it is now, though? It's Freaky Friday also. And this one's going to be real short today because
We got into it.
we got a lot of comments, and they're all about one thing. And it was the F1 Brad Pitt getting in the car, and everybody came at me. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Get your facts right. Get this right. He was in an F2 car. He wasn't in the F1. He didn't race in real race. I don't care. Look, he was in a race car, okay? Brad Pitt got into a race car and drove a race car. I don't care what kind it was.
Okay.
And he did it, and that's more than most people have done. So there's our Freaky Friday for the day. Brad Pitt got into a race car. I cleared up. I've made amends. I hope that's good for the freaks out there. It's good enough for me. Good enough for you, Coco?
Good enough for me.
Yeah. I'm just Blane. She's Coco. You're the freaks, and this is Parallel Frequencies. We'll see you on the other side.